In this video, we're going to look at how to pass outcome 1 of the Unit 1 NAB for higher maths. This is a straight line outcome, and it's not really that tricky. You should be able to pass this quite easily. You require 4 out of 6 to pass it. So let's have a look at the first question, which is out 3 marks. First thing we want to do, a line passes through the points A, 4, -3 and B, -6, 2. Find the equation of the line. So what we're looking to do here is use y take b equals mx take a. Before that, however, we need to work out what the gradient is. So gradient's equal to delta y over delta x. Make sure you use your y values in the top. A common mistake is to put y's in the bottom and x's in the top, and you lose marks for that, obviously. So we're doing 2 subtract -3 on the top, and -6 here subtract 4. You get a mark for writing that, so that's 1 out of 3. If we can do this calculation, we'll get another mark. So 2 subtract -3 is the same as 2 add 3, which is 5, and -6 take away 4. It's starting at -6 and go backwards 4, so get to -10. And that cancels down to -1/2 for your second mark. So we've worked out our gradient. We next need to do y take b equals mx take a. You can pick either point to do this. I have picked the point 4, -3. It doesn't matter if you use -6 too though. So equation of a line with the gradient of -1/2 through point 4, -3 is, so substitute these values in, that's your a value, this is your b value. So y take away -3, because b is -3 and you're subtracting that, equals -1/2 x take away this value here, which is 4. Sort this bit out, that's really y plus 3 equals all this, and you will get the mark for the NAB, the final mark. I would encourage you to multiply it all out and sort it out a wee bit, like we normally do, but you'll finish getting the marks at that point. At this point, multiply everything by 2 to get rid of the fraction, so 2y and times 2 by 3, and so on. You get 2y plus 6 on this side. If we multiply this by 2, we get -1 in front of the bracket. Multiply the bracket through by -1, so -x plus 4, and then take the 6 over the other side, so you're going to end up with 2y equals -x take away 2. Okay, question 2. A line makes an angle of 40 degrees with the positive direction of the x-axis as shown in the diagram here. Find the gradient of the line. For this question, you need to know the formula m equals tan theta. So write that down. So gradient is equal to the tan of the angle that the line makes with the positive direction of the x-axis. That's tan 40 in this case. Type it into your calculator and round it accurately for your mark. If you type tan 40 into your calculator, providing you're in degrees mode, not radians, you'll get 0.84. It's 2 decimal places. Okay, nearly finished. 3a, write down the gradient of a line parallel to y equals 4x plus 1 for a mark. The gradient of this line is 4, so the gradient of a line parallel to that would also be 4. And finally, write down the gradient of a line perpendicular to y equals 4x plus 1. The gradient of a perpendicular line, well, when you multiply a gradient of a line by a gradient that's perpendicular, the answer is -1. So what would you multiply 4 by here to get an answer of -1? Well, think of it as 4 over 1, flip it over and change the sign, so that's going to be -1/4 for a mark. Make a restatement, since m1 times m2 is equal to -1 for perpendicular gradients. So look again, we needed 4 out of 6. A mark for organising your gradient sum, a mark for calculating it out, a mark for substituting a point in and the gradient, and you could use either point here. You don't actually even need to simplify it down to its final form. Make sure you simplify this bit here. A mark for putting tan of the angle into your calculator, for writing the gradient and the perpendicular gradient.